Hello everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL tutorial Bikacho by Bikacho Groups. And this particular is day 12 set 0.1 of 30-day SQL interview question series. And this particular video is getting recorded on 15th of May 2025. And this is, I will tell you, like 16th video of this particular series. So hope you have done all the 15 interview series questions already. Now without any delay, let's move on to the first question of today's video. So what is the question today? So first of all, we will resolve the query based question, and then after we will move on to the theoretical part. Okay. So what is the first question? So the first question is display sale date and day of the week for each sale. So basically sales table we have already created. So first of all, we will move on to SSMS and check the sales table. Then after that, we'll resolve each of the questions one by one. Okay. Now here on our SQL interview database, we have the sales table created. Now open a new query window, paste this question first. Then we will do a select star on sales table. What kind of data we are getting there. So select star from sales table. Okay. Now execute this. So here in this table we have the sales ID, invoice number, customer ID, customer date of birth we have, product ID we have, then quantity we have, sales amount we have, discount amount we have, then sale date we have. Okay, and here you can see invoice is means all the records are unique. Customer, for customer also all the customer ID are unique, and then you can see product is also unique. Here we have the amount and then the discount. Okay, now move on to the question. So what the question is telling? So display sale date and date of week for each sale. So basically what we need to do here. So here we need to fetch the sale date. Okay. And then we need to find out which date, which day this is of the week. Okay. So for this we have some inbuilt date and time functions that we are going to write now. And if you want to go through date and time function in detail, then we have a separate video for that also. That link you will find in the video description. Okay, now execute this. So the query for this will be like select then mention the table name, so the intelligence will work for us. Then from sales, and what columns we need, so we can take the invoice column also, invoice number. Then we will take the sale date, and then we need to provide sale date and day of week. So day of week means which day it is. So we have the date name function, which is a inbuilt date and time function in SQL Server. Okay, so that we will use. So date name, and which date name we want. So we want the weekday weekday. Okay, and for what we need it, for the sales date means sale date column. Okay, and this is the final query that we need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Okay, provide alias here also as weekday 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 of sale weekday of sale. Okay, now execute this particular query and check what kind of output we are getting. So here you can see we are getting the invoice number, sale date, and the weekday of the sale: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, means on which date this particular date is, like that. Okay, and now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the second question. So what it is telling, find all sales where the customer is older than 30 years. So basically it is a good question, and here also we need to use date and time function, but basically in a different way. Okay, so that is why this particular question is important, because it has a bit trick, means how to find out the 30-year old sales. Okay, so for that what we need to use, select star. The simple query will be very simple. Okay, select star from sales, and just one where clause we need to use, but at the where clause we need to evaluate this particular thing. So where sale date, no, not sale date, where date diff, what we are going to do, we are going to find out the difference between sale date and the get date, means current date, and then we will check if that is greater than 30 years or not. Okay, so how to find out 30 years? So here we will consider each of the year as 365 days. Then what we will do, date diff Day we will find between what? Between sale date, sale date and comma get date. Okay, so here in this particular table, as we have seen, like our sale date is date data type, and get date will provide the output in date and time data type. So we need to cast it first. So cast get date as date. Okay, and then we need to close the parenthesis. So date diff day sale date comma get date as date by 365 should be greater than 30. Okay, so 30 years. And this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. So here execute this first. Should be greater than, so no record is coming. Okay, sorry, we need to check for the customer now, which customer is older than 30 years. So customer date of birth here we will take. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, so find out the customer date of birth. Here replace this sales date. Sale date is all in 2025 only, so how it will be 30 years later? Okay, sorry for my mistake. Now customer date of birth, and what we are doing now, select star from sales date, from sales where date diff day customer date of birth comma get date means customer date of birth and the current date by 365 should be greater than 30. And this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Okay, now execute this, and here you can see all these customers are older than 30 years. Means total we have 15 records, 20 records total. In total we have 20 records, out of which 14 customers are 30 years above. So for checking the age, what we can do, we can copy this particular thing. Okay, and then put it in comma. Means this particular we will consider as a column as customer age, customer age, age, and then put an enter sign here. And now when you execute this, then you will find out the date, means year of that customer also. So here you can see we are getting like this. Okay, now move on to the next question quickly. Third question, what we have. So the third question, group sales by sale amount range. Okay, so basically this kind of similar question we have done in the previous video also, so that you can check. Basically I don't remember, but that is for the customer I guess, not for sales. Okay, so you can check that previous video also. There you will find out a similar kind of question like this. So here what we need to do, here we need to use the case statement. Basically we need to group sales by sales amount range like this, like 0 to 200. If 0 is the amount, then 0, and 0 to, if the amount is between 0 to 200, then this will come in this particular range. Then if 200 to 400, then that will come in second range, and accordingly it will go. Okay, so now move on to SSMS and check the execution for this. So here what we will take, we will take the invoice. So select invoice, invoice. So first of all, understanding the table data is also mandatory. Okay, so try to understand the table data first and then try to execute the queries, then it will be easy for you. Okay, so select from table name, first we will mention, so that intelligence will work for us. So select from sales, what we need, so we need the invoice number, and then our case statement will come for the range creation. So range creation we will do now. Okay, so case when what, when sales amount, sale amount, when sale amount between 0 and 200, then the range we will take in varchar. So 0 dash 200 under quotes. Now second point, when sale amount between WWEN between 201 to 400, 400, 201 and 400, sorry, and 400, then 201 dash 400. Why 200 is 400? Okay, and then one more we will create, and after that we will mark it as that much plus. Okay, so when sale amount between 401 and 601. Okay, 600. Okay, 401 and 600, then the name will be like 401 dash 600. Okay, and then in the else part we will write like else 600 plus 601 plus, no, 600 plus. Okay, end as sale amount range. Okay, sale amount MOUNT sale amount range. Okay, this is clear. Now this is half part, not the full query. Okay, so first check the output for this, what it is returning. So here you can see it is returning all the invoices under a particular range. Okay, now what we need to do, now we need to consider this particular as a derived table, and out of this we need to extract the output. So select, group the invoices as per the sale amount range. Okay, so the final query will be like select what, so select invoice number, count of invoice number. Okay, count of invoice number as sales comma sales amount range. Okay, sale amount range from where, so from this particular query result. Okay, and this particular query result is behaving like a derived table in this case now. Okay, and then we need the output as per the sale amount range, then group our result set, group by sale amount range. Okay, and this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Now execute this and check the output for this. So here you can see under this range we have one sales happen, under this range we have 5 sales happen, under this range we have 7 sales happen, similarly under this range we have 7 sales. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the fourth question. So what it is telling, list all sales transactions where no discount was given. So this is a very simple question, and I think means this question is very hard to ask in the interview. Okay, but these kind of questions also come in interview. That's why this question exists in this particular set. Okay, so list all sales transaction where no discount was given. So first of all check the data, then only you can understand what we need to do. Select star from sales table, execute this, and here you can see the discounts are like 0 0 we have. So all the records we need where the discount amount is 0. So select star from sales where discount amount is equals to 0, and this is the final query. So this is very basic and simple question. So this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Okay, now execute this. So here you can see all the sales where no discount is given, we are getting the output. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the fifth question. So display the highest, lowest and average sale amount for each product. So basically here the trick is to understand the question, what it is trying to say. Okay, this is a very simple question but a bit tricky for understanding. So what it is telling, it is telling to display the highest, lowest and average sales amount for each product. So basically here what we need to do, we need to find out the maximum sales amount, minimum sales amount and the average of sales amount. Okay, for that particular table in from the sales table. So the final answer for this will be select, final query for this will be like select from, first mention the table name so that intelligence will work as we do all the time. So from sales, now what we need to select, so select max of sales amount. Sales amount spelling we will take from the this place. Okay, max of sale amount as highest comma mean of mean of sales amount as lowest, okay, comma, the last one avg, average of sales amount, we can paste as average, avere ge, average, okay. And this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Now execute this and check the output. So here you can see we are getting the highest sales amount, lowest sales amount, and the average of sales amount. Okay. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the sixth question. So from here the theoretical part get started. So now we will increase the screen length so that it will be visible to you properly. Okay. Then we will discuss. Now move on to the sixth question. So what is the question? So what is the difference between primary key, unique key, constant in SQL Server? This is a most asked SQL question, okay, in interviews. For any level of expertise, you will find this question. I mean, for sure, everyone will face this particular question. So the answer for this will be like, means on the basis of your expertise level, you can mention the points. Like if you have low experience level, then you can mention 2 3 points. If you have higher experience level, then you can mention all the points like that. Okay. So the based on the given features, what is the difference between primary key and unique key, we will discuss. So based on the feature like uniqueness, so primary key ensures uniqueness for each row in the table, whereas unique key ensures uniqueness of values in the column. Okay. Now null value, so primary key cannot contain null values, whereas unique key can contain null value but only one per column. Okay. Now indexing, so basically primary key creates a cluster index by default, whereas unique key creates a non-cluster index by default. Okay. Now number per table. So primary key, only one primary key per table is allowed, whereas can have multiple unique keys per table. Okay. Now foreign key reference. So primary key can be referenced by a foreign key, whereas unique key can also be referenced by a foreign key. So here both are same. Now purpose. So primary key used to uniquely identify each row in a table, whereas unique key used to enforce uniqueness on the column or set of columns. Okay. Now this is clear, and these are the major points that you need to tell in the interview. Now move on to the next question. So the seventh question, what we have, can we apply unique key constraint on columns in, okay, 1 second. What it is? So, can we apply unique key constant on multiple columns in SQL Server? So, the answer for this will be like, yes. In SQL Server, you can apply a unique key constant to multiple columns, and this ensures that combination of values in those columns remain unique across all rows. Okay. So, the here the uniqueness is checked by the combination of the columns. Okay. Now, eighth question. So, when you create a unique key constant, then by default which index will be created by database in SQL Server and why? Okay. So the answer for this is, in SQL Server, when you create a unique key constant, the database automatically creates a non-cluster index by default. So why a non-cluster index? So basically a primary key constant creates a cluster index unless one already exists. Okay. And unless one already exists. So if a cluster index is existing in the table, then the primary key will not create cluster index automatically. Okay, then it will create a non-cluster index on top of that. So that I'm not confirmed, like non-cluster index on top of that. The cluster index will not be created when the cluster index is already existing on the table on another column. Then primary key will not automatically create the cluster index. So this is also a very important question. Mark that question also. Now the point 2 is, a unique key constant however creates a non-cluster index to enforce uniqueness while allowing multiple unique constants on a table. Okay. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the ninth question. So when you create an primary key constant, then by default which index will be created by database in SQL Server? So the answer for this is, in SQL Server, when you create a primary key constant, the database automatically creates a cluster index by default. And the key point for this are, if no cluster index exist on the table, the primary key will create 1. Okay, and if a cluster index already exists, the primary key will create a non-cluster index instead. Okay, so this is clear that we are discussing previously. Like if a cluster index is already existing on the table, then the primary key will create a non-cluster index by default. Okay, not the cluster index. And the third point is a table can have only one cluster index but multiple non-cluster indexes. Okay, now move on to the next question. And basically if you want to deep dive into indexes, SQL indexes, then you can visit to our indexes video. That is a detailed video on indexes. There you can understand what are the different types of indexes, when to apply the indexes, and how they are useful for our performance and all. Okay, now the last and the 10th question is, what do you understand by default constant in SQL server? Okay, so basically this is a good question, and this can be asked to people. Okay, the answer for this is, in SQL server a default constant is used to assign a default value to a column when no explicit value is provided during an insert operation. Okay, and this ensures that the column always have a meaningful value even if the user does not specify one. Okay, and the key features are: automatically applies a default value when no value is provided. Number point two is helps maintain data integrity and consistency. And the last point is can be applied to various data types including numeric, string, and date time. Okay. So thank you for watching everyone. Do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And many more videos are on the way. And basically, if you need the table data and all for the sales table, then you can visit to our Telegram channel using this particular scan code, or you will find the link on our video description and also on our channel description for our telegram channel. Okay, so thank you for watching and keep practicing, and I hope you will practice all the before 15 sets. Okay, so thank you.